I never thought I'd become the man who waited in silence, studying shadows for answers. My name is Daniel, I'm 38, and until last year, I thought I had built a life most men would envy. My wife, Claire, had been my anchor since college. She was the type who filled a room just by walking in, the kind of woman who could make a stranger feel like family with one laugh. For over a decade, I told myself we had something unshakable. But the cracks didn't appear overnight. They were subtle, like a hairline fracture in glass that you only notice once the light hits just right. Claire's late nights became routine. "Work's piling up," she'd say, slipping off her heels and heading straight to the shower without meeting my eyes. She smiled less. She touched me less. And when she did, it felt rehearsed, like a scene she was forcing herself to perform. I wanted to believe her. God knows I wanted to believe her. But one thing about the truth, it finds ways to scream at you when you're trying your hardest to stay deaf. The first scream came in the form of a receipt. Dinner for two, candlelit, at a restaurant she swore she hadn't been to in years. Then, a lipstick I didn't recognize at the bottom of her bag, a shade too bold for her usual taste. And finally, a late-night call she answered in the kitchen, whispering in a voice she reserved for when she wanted something badly. Still, I said nothing. I convinced myself silence would keep the ship afloat. But silence only made me a ghost in my own house. Then came the night. The night she came home, laughing, cheeks flushed, smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. She tossed her purse onto the couch and headed toward the kitchen, humming as if guilt hadn't touched her at all. That's when she saw it. On the wall above the mantel, in plain sight, was the picture I had placed there just hours before. It wasn't a family portrait or a vacation snapshot. It was a single photograph, framed neatly, lit by the lamp beside it. A picture of her, smiling in that same restaurant from the receipt, with another man's arm draped casually around her shoulder. The kind of smile she hadn't given me in years. Her laughter froze in her throat. She stopped mid-step, her body stiffening like she'd been turned to stone. Her eyes locked on the photograph as her lips parted, but no words came out. The color drained from her face, and for the first time in months, she looked at me. Not through me, not past me, but directly at me. And I didn't flinch. "Daniel, what is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I leaned back in my chair, hands folded calmly in my lap, my heart pounding but my expression steady. "Proof," I said simply. "Proof that I'm not crazy. Proof that I know." Her breathing quickened, shallow and erratic. She reached out as if to touch the frame, but pulled her hand back like it might burn her. In that silence, I could hear everything she wasn't saying. The lies she'd fed me, the excuses, the rehearsed touches, all of it unraveled in the space between us. Claire's lips quivered as if she wanted to speak, but the words refused to come. Instead, she sank onto the couch, clutching a pillow like it could shield her from the truth framed above the mantel. "Daniel, it's not what it looks like," she finally stammered, the most predictable line in the book. I almost laughed, not out of humor but out of the bitter irony. "Claire, it's exactly what it looks like. The dinners, the whispers, the late nights. Now this. Don't insult me further by pretending." She shook her head violently, tears spilling down her cheeks. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was just lonely. You were so wrapped up in work, in everything else. I felt invisible. Invisible." The words sliced through me like glass. She had no idea that for months, I had been the one feeling like a shadow. She had flipped the script, rewriting herself as the victim in a story where she was the villain. "You felt invisible?" I said, my voice low but firm. "Then explain why you looked so alive in that picture. That smile, you haven't given me that smile in years. You had enough life in you for him." Her sobs grew louder, echoing through the room. She crawled toward me, reaching for my hand, but I pulled it away before she touched me. For once, I wasn't the one begging for scraps of affection. "I can fix this," she pleaded. "We can fix this. It was one mistake, one lapse. Don't throw us away over this." But it wasn't one mistake. It was 100 little choices, strung together, each one slicing a little deeper. The receipts, the lies, the silence. Betrayal isn't just one act. It's a slow death, 1,000 cuts you bleed from before you even realize you're dying. I stood, walking over to the picture. She flinched as I lifted it from the wall. For a moment, I studied it again. The way she leaned into him, her happiness radiating like a cruel sun. Then I set it down gently on the coffee table between us. This isn't just a picture, Claire. It's a mirror. It shows me the truth you never had the courage to say out loud. And now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. She fell to her knees, clutching my leg, begging through her tears. Please, Daniel, don't leave me. Don't end us like this. I looked down at her, the woman I had once sworn to love until my last breath, and all I felt was emptiness. The love was gone, drained by months of deception and silence. All that remained was clarity. You ended us the moment you chose him, I said softly. All I'm doing now is accepting it. Her sobs filled the house as I walked past her, past the years we had built, past the ghost of the man I used to be. I grabbed my coat, opened the door, and stepped into the cold night air. Behind me, the picture still sat on the table, her betrayal frozen in time. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel invisible. I felt free.